What's up, everybody? Welcome in for another video. Today I wanted to go through the final part of my series reviewing the cards from each rarity set. This is the Ordinaries from Sorcery Arthurian Legends. So let's get right into it. First is Arc Lightning, 4 and 2 air. Deal 4 damage to target nearby unit. This is a great sealed card. 4 damage is very good for a kill spell. 3 and 2 air for Band of Thieves, 3 power and toughness. Stealth, this is another phenomenal sealed card. That's going to be sort of a trend in this set with the majority of packs being ordinary. So most of these are going to be really good and sealed. Some are going to be in some constructed play. I could definitely see Band of Thieves being in some constructed play. Stealth is always very good. You're going to probably be able to get off one attack before it's removed or it dies maybe a turn or two later. 3 attack is very good for that card. Blacksmith family, 2 and a 2 power and toughness. It provides a fire threshold. There's one of these for each element. And the main thing about these cards, even though they do not require a threshold to cast, each one is considered a spell of that element. So when this comes as far as Philosopher's Stone use, this would cost 1, and that would be your fire spell for the turn. Let's click into this to turn it sideways. We got Bog in Ordinary Sight. Water Threshold, Genesis. Until your next turn, units are immobile while a top target nearby sight. This is a phenomenal card for sealed, and this is a great card for your Water Threshold in constructed decks. Making something immobile, even just for a turn, is just great. Next, we got Bonfire, Fire Threshold, Genesis. You may destroy all weapons and armor nearby. So this is going to get rid of some lances, and it's a you may, so you don't need to destroy any of your own stuff with any negative effects. Brown Bears, another beefy earth card, 4 and 2 earth threshold for a 4 power. It's just a basic, a big beefy earth guy. 3 and a fire for Burning Hands, may be cast by an allied mortal, so it does not need to be by a spellcaster. Choose 2 different cardinal directions and deal damage to each unit at locations in the area effect. I really like the art on this card. I'm not thinking it's too good because it can damage your own stuff. Since it deals damage to each unit at locations, this could be a kill spell for the end of the game, so that's always good. Castle Servants, the same with the Earth Threshold card from before. 2 for 2 power, provides air threshold. 1 and a fire, you get charge. Give any ally charge this turn. I'm not going to think we're going to see that played very often, but it is cool for just 1 cost and 1 fire to get charge out of a big minion if you're able to play 2 cards in a turn. 2 and a 2 for Common Cottagers, provides Earth Threshold. Common Village is just like the villages from the beta and alpha sets. You may pay 1 to summon a dude, which is a foot soldier token. Earth Threshold, obviously, great card and sealed, great card in your Earth decks. 3 and an Earth for Duel, an ally fights target enemy adjacent to it. Not seeing too much out of that card. 3 and 2 Earth for Field Laborers for 2 power. Tap and gain 2 mana this turn. The cost on this card is a little high, but I could see it coming in handy and sealed. 2 and a Water for Finwife for 2 power. This one has Submerge and provides 2 for each nearby enemy avatar. So you could keep this safe for a turn if you're worried about it getting removed the next turn after you play it for the 2, and then you can unsubmerge it and get an extra 2 mana. So that definitely comes in handy. A little bit of a good ramp for the water decks. 2, Fisherman's Family again, same as the other ones, provides Water Threshold. Forge, Firesight, Genesis, you may pay 1 to conjure a lance token here. That's always good, and that's good in sealed for when you want to bypass the basic draft kit sites. 1 and 1 Earth for Grain Sparrow for a 1 power minion. It has Airborne and a great Genesis effect of gain 2 life. Obviously, this is going to come in handy in Death Speaker decks, and you can also loop this with Hamlet for a good infinite combo type of thing with the Horn of Carleone and some other shenanigans. 2 in a water for Grievous Insult. I really, really like this card in Sealed. May be cast by any ally. Silence target nearby minion this turn and tap it. Draw a spell. You're drawing, you're tapping something, you're silencing it for a turn to take away its text box. This is a great card. Hamlet, here we go with the Grain Sparrow combo. Ordinary minions cost 1 less to cast to the site. So that card would be free. You would still need the required threshold. And you can do some loops and stuff with Hamlet. This is a very good card. Does not provide Earth threshold, which you need to keep in mind because it definitely looks like an Earth card. So keep that in mind in your sealed games when you're pulling this to make sure if you're using Earth that you use some basic sites or maybe get a village out of some of your other packs to get your Earth threshold. 3 and 2 fire for Hamlet's Ablaze. Conjure a top ordinary exceptional site. At the start of your turn, destroy the site and minions atop it in Hamlet's Ablaze. This is kind of a trap card in Sealed, I believe. I think this can be a good card in Constructed, but usually your opponent is going to have the opportunity to move their minions away, and usually at 3 mana with some of the aggro decks, them losing a site for 1 turn really doesn't hinder them as much as what you would think. 3 and 2 fire for harassing ruffians, 3 power. Units attacked by harassing ruffians can't be defended. This is great if you want to take something out with 3 health. I really like the art on this. It looks like super realistic. 4 and 2 water for Helpful Hob. He's got 1 power, but he has a great Genesis effect of untap an adjacent ally. I tried to get this to work with a combo type deck with the Witch and a very big kind of stall deck, but it kind of takes a long time to get it to pop off and get lucky. His cost is like maybe 1 too high for this to be a really good card. Hunter's Lodge, Earth Threshold, enemies lose stealth. That's a great card. That doesn't target, it just says enemies lose stealth. So that would be all enemies with stealth. So that's a great card for your Earth Threshold. 2 and an air for Hider Sprites, 2 power. Genesis, name a spell. Spells with this name can't be cast until your next turn. So if you know what your opponent has in hand with the Lookout site, which comes up here in a little bit, or there's a couple other ways to see your opponent's hand. I know there's a beta card. I think it's Swiven Scout that based on where it's at, I know you're able to, your opponent has to play with their hand available for you to see. So this is a good way to slow down and lock down some decks. And obviously, I mean, it's a Genesis effect. I haven't seen too many Death Speaker decks looping this, but you can bring them back and loop them back out and banish them. 3 and a fire for Joust. An ally targets an enemy they're adjacent to, and then they both take a step to swap places. If they pass each other, they fight. This might be the first time I've ever actually read that card. I'm sure you could do something cool with it. I'm not thinking it's going to see too much play. For 1, you get Just a Rock. We know the story behind Just a Rock. That card is garbage. 4 and 2 air for Keening Banshee, 3 power. Maybe cast for 0 if an allied mortal died this turn. Allied mortals also include foot soldier tokens, so keep that in mind. So you could just run your foot soldier token or one of your other mortals that's going to die that turn, and then cheat this out for 0. You still do need the required threshold. 2 and an earth for a 2 power Kettletop Leprechaun. I love the art on this card, and the death right is amazing. Lake of Fank, 4 and 2 water for 3 power, lethal and submerge. I think this is a great sealed card. Could maybe get into some constructed decks. 2 in a water for Led Astray. I really like the art on this card, and I think this is actually very good. Choose any number of enemies at target location. They take a step together to another location they're adjacent to. So you can literally just move would-be blockers away to a different spot to where they can't block, or just put them into a bad spot. Maybe you could push them into a bottomless pit. You could push them into one of your free cities if you need to. So that's always very good. Leyline Henge. Genesis, draw a spell for each other adjacent Leyline Henge. No threshold. I don't think this card is very good. Reminds me of Standing Stones. The art is great. This card leaves a lot to be desired. Lookout. We went over this with Hydra Sprites. Genesis, look at each opponent's hand. This also alludes to a multiplayer format in the future, like I've talked about in my past videos. Love the art on this card. It's a great card. Air Threshold. 4 and 2 fire for Lumbering Giant for a 4 power. Can't defend or intercept, but in sealed, this is going to be a great card. Giants are very hard to deal with in sealed, and in 4 power is very good. 2 in an air for magic missiles. This is the air version of Firebolts. Shoot 3 projectiles in the same direction, 1 at a time. Each deals 1 damage. Could be a good kill spell. Could get rid of some annoying minions that are in your way. 1 in an air for a 1 power Ominous Owl. Airborne. You may cast minions to this site. So you can get the owl out. Maybe he can fly at that angle, which Airborne can do. And then you can cast minions to that site if the Ominous Owl can survive, which Airborne helps a little bit on that. Pond. We got Genesis. This turn, the next beast cast to the site costs 1 less, ignoring threshold. So that's good. You're obviously going to use this ahead of the draft sites if you're using water threshold. Power of Flight. This is another great card in sealed. It definitely comes in handy. 2 in an air threshold. Give an allied minion airborne until your next turn, and you get to draw a spell. Very good. 3 and 1 fire for Reckless Squire. This has a curio version where I think Lance in charge is reversed and charge is in all caps. So that's a cool pull if you can get that. He's good. He's got charge. He gets a lance, so he can hit something for 2. So that's okay. 1 in a fire for Redbreast Robin. 1 power airborne. At the end of your turn, each other unit here takes 1 damage. So it's kind of like a little tiny scarabs, a little bit. 3 and 2 earth for a very, very good rescue. Return a minion from your cemetery to your hand. So something that you lost that you really want back. You can play 4 of these if you want, since it's the ordinary. This is a great card. Saracen Scout, 2 and 1 fire for a 2 power. May be cast at any site without enemies. This is a great card in sealed, great card in constructed. 3 in water for a 1 power Shameless Squire. Lance. Genesis, tap target nearby enemy. It drops everything it's carrying. This also has a curio version where the drops will be kind of at an angle, dropping away from the text. It's very cool. 2 in the water for Shellycoat. 2 power submerged, takes 1 less damage. This is a great card in sealed. The 1 less damage does a lot more work than what you think. So magic missiles isn't going to do anything to it. Because it's shooting at 1 at a time, it's just going to be 0, 0, 0. So that would not be the way to kill Shellycoat. This is a great card. 2 in an air for Sherwood Huntress. 2 power ranged. The ranged on this is kind of weak because it's just the basic ranged. It's a decent card. It's one of your low-cost 2/2s for sealed. I don't think that's going to see much play outside of sealed. 1 in a water for a 1 Sly Fox. Gain stealth at the end of your turn. Sly Fox I'm kind of meh on. Gaining stealth at the end of your turn is cool. If he gets an attack off for 1, that's cool. And then if he survives, he's going to have stealth. So that's okay. Next you have, I believe this Sorcerer is store kit only, and it's fetching quite a price right now online. I would definitely try and stay away from those high prices right now, and try and win one of these if you can, or maybe make that purchase a few months down the road once it drops in price. One for the combo squeakers, one in an earth for a 1 power. Deathrite, reveal your next 5 spells. Then summon all pigs of the sounder from among them to the site. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. This deck wants to be good, but pigs of the sounder, you can only have 3 in your deck, and with the bump up to 50, it's a little rough. And it's going to mess up your shuffles and your stacks if you're wanting to do any of that, which you're probably not going to be doing in a squeakers deck. That deck wants to be good. Like I said, it is good. I don't think it's too super competitive though. 3 and 2 water for Swindler Troop for a 3 power. Genesis, give another nearby allied minion stealth. That's a great Genesis effect. I actually don't think I've ever really even looked at this card until now. I do really like the art. It's pretty cool. I like the background going on there. And that Genesis effect, like I said, is very good. I really like this card. 2 in an air for tactical move. 1 at a time. Each ally takes up to 2 steps. I really like the art on this. Like they're planning their attack. You got the pieces on their map there. I really like that. And that's a really cool effect. 3 and 2 earth for a very good sealed card. And this is in a lot of tax decks with Tax Collector. 2 power. Genesis, on your opponent's turn. On your opponent's next turn, their spells cost 1 more. It's a good card. The art is kind of but it's a good card. Once again, we have another Squire with a Curio. 5 and 2 earth for Thankless Squire, 1 power. His main thing is he's gonna be a cool guy and bring out 3 lances that your other guys can pick up. He's immobile, so he can't tap. Yeah, he's just bringing those lances out that he's carrying. I'm trying to remember offhand. This is the one where I think the text is pushed to the bottom because he can't move. 1 and 1 water for Thieving Magpie, 1 power airborne. May pick up carried artifacts with cost 1 or less. So you can steal those trinkets, the cores, even while they're carried. So that's a cool card. I haven't really seen that one used very much yet. Treetop Hideout, Air Threshold Genesis. You may give stealth to a nearby allied minion. That's a great Genesis effect. It's going to come in handy in a lot of sealed decks. It's probably going to go in your Avatar of Air decks. That's a great sight. 5 and 2 fire for Vikings, 4 power. This is a great sealed card. Tap, deal 2 damage to each unit at target adjacent location. Another good sealed card here. 2 and an earth for a Wall of Brambles. Conjure atop the border of an allied site. Whenever an enemy traverses this wall on the ground, it takes 2 damage. So a good little way to ping a little damage here and there. Remove some of their early 2 power minions, or to make them go around. Weightless Squire is another Squire with the Curio. I think this is the last Squire. There's only 4 of them. 3 in an air for 1 power. And that text will be raised up to the top of the box because he's weightless. And that is the ordinary set for Sorcery Arthurian Legends. That will conclude the set review. I know I kind of zoomed through the ordinaries here. I'd say my top 5 cards for this set for the ordinaries, I didn't really do this for the other sets, would be Bog, Brown Bears, Lookout, Arc Lightning, Band of Thieves, and Grievous Insult. And honorable mention to Grain Sparrow, because I have not built that loop deck, which I'm going to try out to build later today or tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in there. I've been pumping out a lot of shorts. I hope you guys have been liking those. They keep me laughing, and I had one of them get, I think, like 2,000 views the other day, which was kind of crazy. If I could get somebody to watch one of these 2,000 times, I would be super grateful. I know these videos have been basic. I do got a camera coming. You'll see my face soon. I got some Pokemon sets to show off. I got a card game, like I said, that I'm a playtester for that I'll show off and introduce to the world here in a few videos. I'll get that all set up. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Click like and subscribe if you want, and I'll catch you next time.